That always makes me laugh. However we do it, it always makes me laugh. Welcome to episode 4 of the Creative Canvas podcast. We're a little bit late this time round, but it's been a very busy month, has it not?
Just a bit.
We are lucky to be joined again by Xander from Riverax Media, who has spent quite a bit of time with us this month with things like Bizfest, which we'll be talking about. We want to go into a little bit on networking today, and we're going to give a bit more information on the Maslow Method and see where the conversation goes, pretty much. So,
pretty much.
Anything could happen in the next half hour.
Absolutely. Quite right.
And we do apologise.
Yes, we do. Well, yeah, let's get started. Let's talk about Bizfest Southwest 2026, down at the West Point Arena on the 1st of April. Easily the best trade show I've been to, I would say.
Oh, yeah. It's right up there.
Too right. Gavin and Jamie, the organisers, and the whole team down at Forefront do a fantastic job. And it works really well. But
for those people who are watching and maybe don't know a huge amount about Bizfest, but maybe sort of advertise a bit, what would you say it is?
I mean, from now having exhibited,
yes.
Networking on steroids is very much the way I'd look at it. The exhibitors, the pre-shows, the pre-events, all the exhibitors are really into it, into what it should be about, and it is very much a case of networking, collaborating, looking at where we can all benefit everybody's business. There are a few people down there, I'd say, that they're quite unique in what they do, so it is very much more of a traditional trade show for them. Where
it's very SME focused, like majoritarily the exhibitors were SMEs. There are a few larger ones as well, a few larger businesses going on. But what Gavin and Jamie have done is start a community, more so than anything. It's not just about turn up on the day, show yourself off, go home. They have so many pre-show networking events for the exhibitors and even some attendees if they want to come along. There's no reason not to, for the most part. And really make those connections that way. A lot of exhibitors were helping each other out quite a lot on the day. Like even a week before, people were saying, I need to get like an urgent roller banner sorted. Doesn't really know who can do it, turn it around in a few days sort of thing. And people were asking for exactly that and getting it done. Right? I've not seen that kind of community in a huge number of other trade shows. It does happen, it does exist. But Gavin and Jamie have really fostered something incredible.
For sure, and I mean, the main thing I can pick up on it is there were probably about 8 or 9 marketeers down there.
Yeah.
So do very similar things to what we do, but there's no angst on it. Everybody knows that they've got a particular specialism or they lean in it a particular way, and it was all very cooperative, I thought.
Oh yeah, very much so.
I think they lead into that as well, as the way they run the event, as you said, with all the networking leading up to it, makes it very much an open event for everybody to enjoy rather than everybody to compete with each other, which, like you say, a lot of trade shows is very much a separated units of people. Nobody is talking to each other because they're there to do their job, not there to enjoy the day. And I feel that the Bizfest is definitely more of a community day than it was a trade show of selling our wares, which makes it a much more easy event to go to.
Well, this is why they work very closely with Networking, and Chris Bentley and all of those people there, and John from the Samphire Club. Those are all networking groups which are focused more on building relationships than getting in the room and pitching directly to people. And I think that's good. That's very good because it feels like relationships are building. Your camera's just gone off.
They're still recording.
Oh, okay, just making sure. I'm happy. I can still see the red flashing light, but it was just to be sure because it was last time it went off, it stopped.
Yeah,
so.
True.
That's all right then. So what is really nice, and I think the way that Gavin put it is that all of this is about building relationships with people. They don't start off transactional, but maybe do become transactional. Right? It builds from just being somebody that you know, that somebody you do collaborate with, you connect and work with, get some work from, get some referrals from, and it actually becomes just like, oh, hey man, thanks very much for getting me that referral sort of thing. Tell you what, I've actually been in need of X. Is there anything you can help me with on that?
Yeah, most of the conversations I had on the day felt more meaningful with other graphic designers. And we've got different areas of expertise, so we can work together still. It's not a game like working against each other or trying to compete with each other, but it was a good conversation of how actually we could work together in the future. And with the other things that we provide here and with the connections we've made, we can add value to their clients without them needing to worry about it. So there's a lot more scope in that conversation, and that's what I think most people are now looking for, rather than the direct competition of forces. There's still lots of companies out there who definitely feel that way, but I think we need to be doing it more on pricing as well. I think that the more people in the industry who talk to each other and understand where they are price-wise, it helps the industry not undercut each other, not devalue the different areas that they're in. I've seen it in so many different industries of a new boy coming in the industry and they just undercut everybody, but it doesn't help the industry. All it does is devalue the product and devalue the whole system. And it felt like most people were involved in that.
I mean, on that, I don't necessarily mind somebody who's starting out coming in at a lower price, but I think sometimes there's the element of this is a lower price and this is what it should be. That is what is the message they're passing it on to clients, as opposed to...
See, my nephew's got a free version of Canva, he can just do it on his phone. Why are you charging £1,200 for a brand packet? It's like, well, because I'm not your nephew for a start.
But I think some of it is also that, right, I am starting out, so I need to build a client base, and that's why it's this price, but it will increase. And people that are starting out that want to do it that way, never a problem for me.
No, it's doing it at a relatively cheap price. There's a lot of people who start out and start throwing it out free, which it just makes them, to any business, it doesn't make, I can't take them seriously. And if they want to be taken seriously, it's just the wrong way to start. But I understand let's get work in, let's get motivated. It's promoting it in this is a discounted rate, rather than no, I'm going to be doing it at this price.
Yeah.
So, and that goes on and on, doesn't it?
It's an interesting thing about the psychology of pricing, isn't it? That people look at something. People are sometimes more keen to pay more money for something. Like if you see like a list of 4 different the same service but at 4 different prices, you're going to look at the £100 one and things like, there's no way it could be that cheap. Right? It's the TMU equivalent, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sort of thing. It will arrive in about 30 days and it'll probably be broken.
Yeah.
Right? But then you got like the £200 one, which is like, oh, it's eBay. It's like, I'm taking a bit of a risk, bit of a punt, but it might actually come out very, very good. And then your 300 and 400, you got it's going to be, sort of like Shopify, Amazon kind of stuff. The kind of things that people will look at and go, okay, no, that's a lot more reputable. And £400 is either too expensive or, I say a premium? Fancy me a premium, but those people are a lot more rare. So,
stuff like Rolex watches wouldn't exist if people didn't value the value of things, because that's, it still tells time.
Yeah.
And you can get a watch for £5 that can tell you the time, but Rolexes still sell through the roof, and so do some of the other top brands. It's just that, people like to know they've spent.
Yes.
That also then comes into brand positioning, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Exactly that with your watches. Casio watch versus a Breitling watch, and that's because of the way the brand has positioned themselves within the market. That's where the reputability starts kicking in. And what does like you say, what does a Rolex do that a Casio doesn't?
Glows. Well, no, that's serious.
Yeah, but that's my point.
That little blue glow is actually like a particular material, isn't it?
Yes.
Which no other watchmaker is able to allow to use or something like that. Like Rolex have got the full, like they're the only ones who own that material or something weird about it, isn't it? And that's what makes them perfectly unique.
Which is always nice to have something that nobody else can copy.
Yeah, limited edition, all that kind of stuff. Like that builds in an inherent value to it, and that's why they can be at the higher tier. Sort of thing, but if somebody was selling a Rolex for £120, you'd be like, it's clearly not real. Like, what's that blue stuff? Oh, it's probably not radioactive. I'm sure it's fine.
It'll make your arm blue, it's fine.
You'll start glowing.
So, I mean, we're obviously talking about Bizfest and the organisers, Forefront Events, Gavin and Jamie. You introduced us to them.
Yes.
But what makes them different?
Definitely their sense of community and the way in which they look after the exhibitors so much. That was the first thing that we saw, was just how engaged they were with the people who were coming along to their business shows. And I first experienced it as an exhibitor anyway. You know, I've never been an attendee to this one, but I've spoken to lots of attendees, and I've brought along a lot of attendees to those events. But to see the kind of support that Gavin and Jamie were cultivating, the ecosystem they were building there, was just like, oh wow, you felt like they cared, which they clearly do because of how much work they put in.
Yeah.
Well, they've got how many exhibitors now from this year?
This year, I think it topped out at 191.
So almost 200 businesses that they have to contact.
Yes.
Before, after, and it's not too much. You know, I had a feedback call with Gavin after the event. He was on the phone for a good 45 minutes, so there's no rush to get my information and go. They want to continually improve, but they're also interested, like you say, in that community side of just trying to keep that build going. And what is it? Believe the hype.
Believe the hype. Believe the hype. Bizfest Southwest. Baby.
So yeah, for anybody that is either interested in exhibiting at a very good trade show, or just coming down to it, 27 is already open for exhibitors.
It is the last Wednesday in April. I think
Definitely a better day to do it. Now it's done. Picking April. Now it's done. I can say it. But picking April the 1st just gave me screams that it was going to be a long con. Do the event in 2025. Get some information. Get people going up. Get people interested in it.
Yeah.
So they double the amount of exhibitors for 2026.
Yeah.
Do it on April Fool's Day and then run off with the cash. Yeah. And then we'll see Gavin and Jamie in Hawaii.
I'm not sure anybody would have taken the joke.
No.
Here's a disclaimer. Like, please don't ban us from Bizfest, Jamie, please. Here's a disclaimer.
Guys, genuinely, if you do end up watching us, we love you, and it is absolutely. This is the joke. We knew it wasn't going to be like that, and we couldn't.
Hoped.
Yeah, hoped. And we couldn't thank you guys anymore.
Stop talking.
Genuinely, we couldn't thank you guys anymore for the efforts and the work that you guys do. It is such a great event, and to tie that one in with obviously the Cornwall Business Show that you guys are running as well. It's a lot of work for you and your team, and you absolutely smashed it from our point of view.
Yeah.
Just going the wrong way. We're going down to Cornwall. They need to be coming up north, not south. Expand the other direction.
Do one in Bristol, guys.
Yeah.
Bizfest Southwest. It's a whole quarter of the country, guys. I know you're very proud of Cornwall and Devon, but come on, guys.
Yeah.
Guys.
Right,
There's
enough
more
plugging.
to this area.
There is. I started that by saying it was networking on steroids.
Yes.
Right, because there are a lot of people coming around and talking to us that were visitors. A lot of opportunities, I think, to really collaborate or to work with people, which is great. But, and I'm going to go your way on this, networking in general, and the importance for an SME to really get into networking.
Oh, it's massive, and that's something that I think businesses in general have forgotten about. The communication and the whole point of actually getting out there and speaking to people in business is something that I feel in the last few years people have sort of I'm not sure about that. And there's some networking has a big cost, some doesn't. There's lots of different groups out there that are saying that I don't agree with the way they do their networking, but it still works for them if that's the way. But the new open networking that people are bringing on, the ones that you started up, and the Brave and things like that, are so much better for people. It's just going out and talking to people. I know when we started, you never liked the idea of networking, but I definitely think you've seen the value and are starting to really enjoy the networking.
Yeah, definitely. I've done a few in the early days. I've done a few networking events where you kind of, if you're not used to it, you almost stand in a corner and think, what am I doing here? And that's personal confidence as well as confidence in your business. Is that if you're not somebody that is naturally confident in just walking up to someone and saying, hi, what do you do? it's going to be difficult.
Yeah.
And when you think of some of the, like I say, some of the earlier networking groups I did, it was very closed off. Very much, these are clearly people that come all the time, that are sat in their little circle, and we don't need outsiders to come into it. And those aren't the events for me.
No.
At all.
No.
I think the first one that changed my mind on that was Riverax Networking, because I've come out and people are just happy to talk.
Yes.
And we've made some very good contacts and connections from that.
Good.
Have I made any money from Riverax Networking directly? No.
But just because Ross hasn't doesn't mean that you can't. So come along to Riverax Networking, Connection and Collaboration, because you never know what might happen.
However, what I have done is I have made contacts with people at both your Connection and Collaboration and Pitch Perfect that have led to conversations about business from people who haven't been there.
Yeah.
So going in with the attitude of I'm going to do thousands of pounds worth of business, you're losing straight away, because that's not what it's about for me.
Especially from the people in the room. It's not about the people in the room. It's about communicating with everybody in that room, and hopefully at some point they may not need your services, but every person is talking to other people, and that's the thing you've got to take into account. It's not for people. It's not for connections in that room. It's their connections in that room.
Yes.
It's their reach. It goes on and on. And if you present yourself in a way that is approachable, is communication, can communicate your wares properly and show your worth off to them, they're going to go off and say, I know who you should speak to.
Yeah.
As opposed to if you're sat in the corner and not wanting to talk to people, you are going to find it very difficult and find it very difficult to get anything from it. And that is the difference. You've got to go into that room with the openness to just talk to anybody in the room and see what they do, even if they're in the same industry, because why not?
And that's exactly why we have two different networking series that, on paper sound wildly different, but they do supplement each other very, very well. So Riverax IRL Connection Collaboration, which is one that you were talking about beforehand, that one is more about building relationships, inspired by the likes of the Samphire Club and Not Working Networking. It's relationship first opportunity for meeting people, or place to meet people, alongside our fireside guests who give information about their industry to help people themselves.
And the value in that, I've got to say, is incredible, because I've learned so much from some of the fireside guests.
And we've put people to sleep when we were interviewed.
Your interview was good. Your interview was really, really good. People loved it.
Check that one out as well. So Riverax Networking on LinkedIn, on YouTube. They've spent a bit of time with us. We've gone through some of our stuff, and it's I was really happy with how it went. I was quite happy with some of the responses to it, and I think there's value in what we've said as well. So when you finish this one,
absolutely,
go back and watch that one by all means.
Check the little eye up in the corner. Make sure you save it for later in your playlist. There we go.
That one. That's why we bring a YouTuber along. He knows what he's talking about. But with that, it's not just about what can I get; it's what can I learn.
Yes.
And one of the first ones that I came to was Daniel Warren, who was with us on episode 3, and I've learnt some things from him, but I've also reinforced some of my own beliefs because he said it, and those are some of the personal confidence side of things in what we do. That's massive. That's what encouraged me to bring him in for our last podcast episode.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Daniel Warren seems to get around quite a bit because he was also on our online series for Riverax Networking as well. So the other series that we do is, as I said, meant to supplement the Connection and Collaboration in-person one. The online one is called Pitch Perfect, which is all about perfecting your pitch, and from that being able to find referrals beyond the room that you're in. So you come along to Pitch Perfect, you learn how to be able to explain what your business is and what your services are to literally anybody. You then practice being able to talk to people about the kind of people who you want to meet for referrals. It's like, oh, I don't know you, I don't need you, but my mate Bob has got a business and he desperately needs a new website sort of thing, and then you get introduced that way. Go along to then Riverax IRL, Connection Collaboration, and then you talk and you get more trust building there with a direct relationship with somebody, and it all just builds together.
And the exact example on that, this Thursday, we're currently filming on a Tuesday, this Thursday I'm meeting somebody who has been referred to me through Pitch Perfect, who I've never met.
There we go.
Because I've only met on a Zoom call.
Yeah.
And that's it. It's not about going in and expecting to just get business. It's going in and building your own confidence and building a little bit of trust in what you do.
Yeah, there was no silver bullet in marketing at the end of the day, and networking is a part of marketing, and it has to be done in conjunction with lots of other things. Nobody ever was able to make their full businesses by doing one thing. At the end of the day, you do have to work at it. At the end of the day, but it's finding the right place. That's the crucial thing there.
Like you said, though, it's the point. It's the part of part of marketing. If you forget any part of marketing, you're going to find it. You're short. You're not getting where you want to be. And networking isn't just another part of your marketing. It's another string. It's another area of it you should be taking part of and getting involved with. It's along with your website, your social medias, all of these things are part of your marketing.
Yep.
And networking is one of them, and people definitely forgot about it. And strange enough, in this area in Western has always been a stumbling block, and I don't know why, but it goes back many years now. Groups of networking have started here and have worked in other places, failed to grow in Western, and for no real reason. I've not known anybody go, that's why.
Yeah.
But for some reason, networking in this area seems to fall flat, and I've never worked out why. Maybe it's the structures of those networking groups that have tried to enter, and we're a bit more, not sure about that, attitude to it. But I know that going back many years ago, my dad started up networking with the backing of Barclays Bank business department, who brought in loads of people, and it worked really, really well. But they were government business advisors, so they were on the cusp of bringing new businesses and getting them started. And the way they started doing that was having quite large networking events. They did bring in 30, 40 people every time. It was a good networking event. But that was the only one left. All the other networking events just didn't exist. And that's quite rare. Bristol does better, just down the road. And you think, what is wrong with the people in Western? Why are they so...
So there's nothing wrong with the people of Western. You guys are great. But I'm wondering if it is, again, a positioning kind of thing like we were talking about before. Right? You hear Bristol, you think big city, you think all of those like big businesses that are around there, which is not to say that Western doesn't have it, but cities tend to brag about it a lot more. They tend to they really hold that as a big badge of honour. It's like, oh hey, look at us, we've got like such and such. I can't even think of it at the moment, to be honest. But because there's so many, right? There's loads of really big businesses in Bristol, and people are like, oh yeah, it's prestige, oh it's fancy because it's a city. Western's a town, right? People don't think it's like, you know what, he's a big town business guy. No, you say he's a big city businessman, don't you? So
yeah, and to be honest, as with any businesses, and definitely B2B, you want to be accessing the bigger companies, and generally they end up in cities. So you are trying to encroach on those areas to get more business and bigger business. So.
Which is a massive shame, because there is a lot in Western.
Yeah.
But people just don't naturally assume that it's there necessarily, which needs to change.
Yeah, but you also have got the point where a lot of businesses get to a certain point and they move out of the towns into the bigger areas.
Because it's a prestige, because that's where you go for the network, because if somebody's in Bristol, why would they go outside of Bristol to go to a network, necessarily? You know, I mean, some do, which is fantastic, to be honest. You know, we're trying to get more people down from Bristol. We've got a few there, which is really nice. But we've gone into Bristol more times, but we only tend to meet people who are from Bristol in Bristol. Yeah. And, you know, they don't seem to be interested in going outside. It's like, why would I do that? You know, I've got so many around here. It's like, you're missing out, mate. You're missing out.
And that being said, there are some fantastic businesses in Western, and it's just getting the word out that there are some of these real collaborative events that are going on now, because a lot of people that might have tried networking may have felt like I did at the start, and thinking, oh, this is a little bit cultish for me. I don't really think I want to do it. So
no, I know what you mean.
Yeah,
I can understand the kind of like almost what's it called, visceral response or something like that. Like the first thing you see, regardless of whether or not it's right or not, the emotional response kicks in first of all, because if it's outside of your comfort zone, you are going to just naturally assume it's dangerous.
Yeah, without a doubt.
And there is the difference in the types of networking now. I think the new events, your event, Brave, all of the Coastal is all more about open networking rather than the you're only allowed one of each type of trade in a networking group. That isn't what networking is now, and I think it's probably slowly dying now. I think the new networking is the collaborative, the open networking is going to be much more of the type of events that people are going to gravitate towards and get more out of.
Much more relationship first, as we would say.
And that sometimes comes down to the hosts, because, when we... Obviously, it's been slightly different for us with you guys because we knew you outside of the network, so we just walk over and say hello. But
not too far for you to go, is it?
Not anymore, no, definitely not.
That's a benefit, it's right on your doorstep.
Yeah, but leaning more into talking about Brave, when I first came to that, I didn't know anybody. I knew you. That's why I came, and I saw who the speaker was, wanted to get involved a little bit.
Yeah.
The second I walked through the door, both the hosts, Neil and Wince, come over, say hello, introduce themselves, say get involved. And that is how it's been led.
Yes,
it is really, really strong.
Well, and sort of friendly introduce you to different people as well.
Yeah.
I think that, like you say, the hosts can take a big part of that. Of making sure that people feel comfortable as they walk in the door. Introduce them to a couple of people to get them started in the conversation, and generally that the people you get introduced to will introduce you to more, and that's the way life works as well. It's the way people speak to people and people move forward. So if like you say, if the hosts are good, you can really help move to that point.
And I think we were talking about 3 events at the moment. We've mentioned obviously Riverax Networking Online, which is 8 o'clock in the morning on a Tuesday. Yep. We've mentioned Riverax Networking in Real Life, Collection and Collaboration, which is Thursday evenings. Yep. So neither of those are necessarily within the standard 9 to 5. Yep. So it's a bit more accessible to people from that point of view. And Brave is a Wednesday morning. Yeah. So...
And the whole morning, pretty much.
And it is the whole morning, absolutely. Yeah. So there's options for people to go to whatever is going to be more suitable for them and their business. Some people might not be able to do 8 o'clock in the mornings because of school runs. Yep. So they've got the Thursday evening they might be able to do, or within the working days.
And some of the working day ones, it depends on your company. It depends on whether you're working for a company who wants you to do networking in office time, and that's when you can do it. So, and look, and let's face it, people who are working for companies generally don't want to work after their 9 to 5 and go off and do more if they don't have to. And that's also why I think a lot of the networking events generally are small businesses or business owners, because they've got a little bit more drive to do it.
It's also why when we did our interview at Connection and Collaboration, no one understood when you said holiday pay.
Very true. Yes. Yeah.
Lean a little bit into Brave if we can.
Yeah.
So again, Neil Wince, if you're watching this one, this is our plug for you. The best networking event at 9 o'clock on a Wednesday morning in Weston, without a doubt. But
by a long way.
Yeah, by a long way.
Are they taking in locking now? Actually, they've.
Oh yes.
They've defected.
It's still Western.
It's no longer Western. It's Western.
Yeah, absolutely. It's growing, and this is what they're trying to do. Always busy, always really, really friendly. Yep. I found some very, very strong guest speakers at that event as well. The second one, this one just gone, was brilliant.
Yeah, that bowing was tremendous.
Yeah. But of course, you guys were the first one. Do you want to tell us about that?
So, Wince asked us if we would give a short presentation at Brave. So, the basic format of Brave is that it's get together, have a bit of a chat, a bit of networking, then it's the introduction, then there's a guest speaker, a little bit more networking, another guest speaker, and then they round off either with a very short presentation from Wince or Neil, or it's just a few snacks and things, and then that rounds off the day, probably around about noonish. We were fortunate enough that Wince asked us to be guest speakers last week, as a matter of fact. Yeah, he had asked us a little bit before that, so we had a bit of time to prepare, which was nice. And we were talking about the power of storytelling in marketing, specifically video marketing, but it also expands into your larger ecosystem of what you're doing with your marketing. And it's all about the emotional connection that you can create by telling a really good story. It's also about how you're able to make your stuff more memorable, your information more memorable, because people remember feelings and stories and narratives a lot better than they remember 95% of people do such and such and all that kind of stuff. It's a bit dry. It's harder to remember. And providing examples about how that can be incorporated in your marketing and how that affects your audience and hopefully converts them to prospects if you position it right.
Now, how do you feel it went for you guys?
I really enjoyed it. I was really surprised the fact that people were laughing in a good way, pretty much from start to finish. It's a really good atmosphere at Brave. It's a really good vibe, right? The people there are very engaged. They're not heckling, right? There's a bit of banter between the people who know each other, which is great. But they were very, very respectful and sat down and listened to everything that we were saying. But because it was such a good atmosphere, me and Ryan, when we were presenting, we relaxed a bit more, and that allowed us to, say a few things that, I'm not going to say it was unprofessional, because it wasn't unprofessional. It was all still very professional, but it was maybe a little bit cheeky, it was a little bit friendly, it was a little bit more casual. And then that meant that people were laughing along and joking along with us, and we were all having a very good time. The information we managed to present, I think, was really, really good. We had so many people come up to us afterwards, and they were all saying, it's like, that was a really good presentation. I really took on board what you said. And we, of course, incorporated as many stories as we could into it as well, which was kind of the point. We're talking about storytelling in marketing. I could have just given the list of all the wonderful statistics about why storytelling is great, or I could tell you half a dozen really engaging stories. So that's what we did.
Yeah, I know, and it was really, really good. They've just, of course, moved on to into a new location, and it's, I think they'd be happy to say it. So it is clearly a work in progress, but I tell you, it's a great venue to be in.
Oh, the space is
the space is good. The community that they're trying to build is phenomenal. So again, for any small business owner in the area, it's another one on the Wednesday morning once a month that I would really check out.
Yeah, and if you are a small business, by the sound of it, the unit he's now promoting is there's going to be some office space that you could do your hot desk and get to actually work with other people and network while you're doing it, while you're renting a desk, which I think is another open string to that bow. Is another thing they can do, and it's really good idea for small businesses to do, because generally, if you are a small business and just starting out, if you are working from home, it's a horrible place to end up. You stop talking to people. Can be very lonely, You stop talking to people, and that doesn't work.
I did that for the longest time, like during, I think it was towards the end of 2025. So Ryan had gone back to America. Obviously, that was before I started co-working with you guys. Once again, thank you very much. Appreciate that. My God, I was depressed. Like, I was just so alone, and like, it's like, oh, get up, roll into the living room, set up on the coffee table, do my work, and then by the time that my wife would be getting home, I'd just be in a foul mood, to be honest, because I hadn't seen people. I need to see people.
And a couple of people have actually said that at Brave, that the reason why they come is just to get out, because they work by themselves, and no, I can see that side of it too.
Yeah. So keep an eye out for that when the Brave co-working space comes out as well. It is genuinely, it looks really good. I'm actually have a quick look at it.
They wouldn't let me upstairs.
No, we had to talk to them about some of their marketing stuff. So we managed to go upstairs and have a quick look at it, and it was like, oh, this looks really good. Obviously in pieces at the moment.
Yeah, of course.
But you can see the vision. You can see where it's going.
I do hope this doesn't mean that you're going to leave us.
Okay.
Go and use their. You're not going to start using their co-working space, because we like having you here.
I know that is what you hope.
Wind up merchant. But so obviously a lot of today is about collaboration, really. We're talking about networking, about other aspects that people might not think of. Let's give a little bit more to the viewers on the Maslow Method. We've touched on it about 3 times now across these podcasts, but haven't actually explained what it is.
No, and I think there's 2 parts of it. It's the collaboration, which I think is something we need to explain, but also I think we need to explain the tiers. I think we need to explain the levels and why it works and how it explains all of your marketing, and will give you a proper structure to the way you look at your market and go forward with it. And I think that's something that we slightly overlook when we talk about it a bit, because as a fundamental theory about how marketing works, I think it's one of the strongest I've seen.
So here's the exercise for you. Right, I want you to tell the story about how you came up with the idea of Maslow and what you want it to do. That's the first bit.
Yeah, it is, and I think so. Yeah, it was. I've always had quite an interest in psychology. Something I wished that I'd probably done a little bit more educational points on. If I wish I'd kind of studied it, didn't have the opportunity at the time. To be fair, when in my younger days, when you're more educational than work, it wasn't an option for me. But I've always had this really good interest in it, and I find that there's an awful lot of both philosophical and psychological points that can be brought into other areas when they're used. And I've always had, like I said, the Maslow hierarchy of needs has always been one of me, through my people management experience, more than anything, of learning that helps me understand where people are on the hierarchy of needs. What does somebody need? Is a member of staff perfectly happy and actualized where they are, so they're never going to be looking to learn new skills or progress through the management chain? Is that what they want? Or have you got people that are proper drivers for wanting more money, wanting more responsibility, wanting more of this? Have you got people that actually they're just really insecure and quite further lower down the triangle, if you know, or the pyramid, and we need to look at what's going to help them feel a bit more secure, more confident, and you're building up more base skill sets. And it kind of occurred to me that this is very similar. It runs in parallel to marketing. That if you don't have your foundations in place, you can't look to progress into the next element. And we could just as easily, to be fair, have used a house as an example with this. We could have just said, the foundations of your house, and then the brickwork that builds the outside, then the windows and the doors, and then, and it all still works. So it works the same way, but we wanted to do something a little bit different and to take advantage of, like I say, of Maslow's concepts, because I've always found them very strong and quite easy to explain, which helps. So from the marketing point of view, the marketing triangle started coming, right, what is the first things that you need to start a business? And firstly, it's a product or service. From that, you then need a logo or a brand mark. So branding set up from the start. You do, in our opinion, you need a website. Even if that website isn't going to be your main driver of business from the start, you need a website. You need to just prove you exist.
Yeah.
It's effectively a location. That's how I see that. So when you say, if I was to apply this to 50 years ago, before the internet was even a thing, God forbid that time, if you were to say to anybody that's like they have a business, they have to have somewhere where people can find you. That's the basic thing, and that is what a website does these days.
Yeah.
So it's significantly more shiny than what it used to be.
Well, it used to be your shop, it used to be your office. That was when.
Yeah.
Now we have the ability to work from home because we can sell our wares in a different way. We can promote ourselves through your website and have it as as we used to call it, is the digital shop window. It's the basics of level of, this is who I am, where I am, and give the basics of what you do.
Yeah.
And on level 1, tier 1, that is the basics of you cannot move forward without these levels in place, because otherwise other areas fall flat.
Absolutely.
What we've also incorporated into the tier 1 is a proper strategy.
Yes.
Because you can throw as much mud at the wall as you like, but if it's not strategized, it's going to just be mud. And, it's not going to actually turn.
I've not heard that one as an analogy before. It's like, how muddy is your strategy? Well, let's make that mud better mud.
Well, let's turn that mud into something that actually becomes foundations for a business.
Let's turn that mud into the cement needed to hold the bricks of your business together.
Absolutely.
There we go.
Yeah.
We don't want mud huts here. We want proper buildings.
Yeah. And then so your strategy is going to be.
Wait for the big bad wolf to come.
Puff now, blow your marketing down. I'm sorry, Ross.
Yeah.
Carry on.
Yeah.
That did go a bit far. Sorry.
No, it's all good. Hey, look, we're real. We're keeping it real. But yeah, so strategy, website, branding, and product. they've got to be the things you start with.
Yep.
And a keen understanding from the strategy of what it's going to take to achieve where you want to be within your business.
Yep.
When you've got those in place, that's when you can then start looking at what we would call tier 2. And tier 2 is very much the looking as part of your strategy, who is your avatar? Yes, I'm stealing that from you.
That's awesome. I can't steal it, it's a concept.
Yeah. But who are you targeting? What direction are you going to go in? What demographic are you going after? Therefore, what platforms are you going to be looking to use? If you are aiming to sell, I always love this one, but if you are aiming at a demographic that are maybe 60s, 70s people, then actually there is still market for digital billboards and bus stops.
Yeah.
I mean, I know everybody uses buses, that's not a thing, but it's where are the majority of your customers going to be, so where are you going to look at?
Well, and see your marketing.
Yeah.
It's not just about the positioning, and other people are there, yes, but they are the people who are still taking note of those areas, the billboards, they are still looking on the newspapers, the traditional marketing still has a place if that's where your end user is looking. And we're looking at strategies for different companies at the moment, which we're going to have to incorporate that sort of thing, because at the end, that's part of the age demographic that need to be looking at what we're promoting.
Sure. In regards to thinking back, obviously, to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, the tier 1 is those foundations. It is, the base levels of human existence, which in this case, the base levels of business existence. But once you move beyond, right, okay, I've got my house, but I don't have doors or any kind of windows, so I've got shelter, but what I don't.
So we bring this forward so you can actually
visual aid.
Use your crib sheet.
Thanks. We've got shelter and we've got food and we've got water, but we're very alone and we're very insecure because we don't have locks on doors or anything like that. So that's where the second tier of your credibility comes in. Of right now, I need to put a lock on the door. I need to be able to heat my home. I now need to be able to potentially not just eat the basics, but have a little bit more in my life. And that's where credibility within marketing starts to kick in. Right, I've got a product, I've got a good brand, I've got a strategy to start working on it, but actually, who's going to believe in me? And credibility is our second tier. It's actually believing that we're right. The desires for stability, relatability, and trust, I think this says. Why try and hide it? So we're going to start looking at proper content, consistent messaging, testimonials, case studies for why you kind of have that.
You hit the microphone.
I did hit the microphone. Yeah.
You probably heard a rustling there. That was because the microphone was hit.
Was being blocked. So you're going to start stepping in, and this is where we find the majority of businesses kind of sit. That they've got most of the framework in place from the first tier, and they've got a bit of a case study, a bit of history, a bit of why I can do what I can do. And which is a great place to be, but we all want to kind of move forward within the business. The third tier is more based on connections. It's more on, do you know what? Now people are starting to look for me as opposed to going out and
I need.
So it's, I know that I need to find a videographer to do some documentary work. I've heard of this River Axe Media, and I've heard they're pretty good, so I want to go and find them. And that's what tier 3 does. Tier 3 is positioning yourself as the expert, positioning yourself as the person that when somebody needs you, you're there. And so there's work that goes involved in that. That is where we start talking about doing video and doing more to put yourself in the market, ready for when somebody wants what you want. Positioning yourself as the expert for when they need it.
Stuff that is a bit more directly engaging. So whilst you've got the second tier, which is credibility, and you're talking about stuff that is just kind of like there should anybody see it, tier 3 is more about it going and being focused and directed towards particular people for them to actively go, oh, cool, I need that. That's where I should go when I need that thing.
And it's being one that people think of rather than lots of people they can think of.
Yep.
So it's making sure you are at the forefront of people's minds.
Yeah, for sure. Tier 4 is then in the Maslow hierarchy is esteem, which for us is that I've done what I need to do. I've got all the basics in place, but I want more. And this is where 95% of people actually exist, is in the esteem category. Is I've got what I want, but I want more money, I want a bigger car, I want, I want to be better at this, I want to do that.
I'll talk later. I want more money.
And you can keep wanting. But so it's the drive for the next thing. So it's a drive for more. In Maslow's marketing hierarchy, it's authority. It is basically it's a next step, if you like, on what we've said already. It's not just a case of I need a product, so I'm going to think of these companies that I've worked with or I know of and go to. It's not. It's I need Riverax.
Yeah.
It's not I need video. It's I need Riverax. And
it's where people put themselves as being, they're the name in such and such, aren't they? I mean, I found that I've said that. Like, maybe I'm only picking up on myself now because of being in marketing, but I've found that it's like, oh yeah, we should go for that because that's the name, isn't it? And I sit there and I think, is it? I've never used it. Why is that the name? I don't know anybody who uses it. Why do I think that is the name for whatever it is that I'm using? I think it was really weird, like Sif or something like that. I was like, oh, I need some bleach or whatever it was. I was like, why do I think that that's the best one? I've never used it. I don't know anybody who's just going to say, you know what's really good bleach? All right, let me tell you what's really good bleach. Nobody's ever said that to me. But for some reason, they've hit tier 4 because by golly gumdrops do I think that they're the best and I've never used them.
Yeah, and that is it. It's position again. So that's where that drive between people knowing who you are and people thinking you are the best before they even work with you, or you are the ones to use. And then your kind of your fifth tier is in the hierarchy is esteem.
Yep.
It's I have reached my peak, my pinnacle. I am everything that I want to be, and like 5% of the world is in that. And I've worked with people. I say using a lot of this came from my people management training. You know that person is in the job they want. They're happy with their lot in life. They've got everything. They don't want to drive for anything else. They want to be comfortable. They want to be happy, and they are.
Yeah.
And very rarely, and I think everybody does get there occasionally. But what will happen is they might be there for 3 months, and then they drop back into the 4th tier. They drop back into the drive.
It takes.
I am happy, but actually, do you know what? If I had a better MacBook,
Yeah.
or and then you drive to get that, and then when you achieve that, you're there for a bit. But do you know what? I could have a better car. So you bounce between the 2 tiers.
Yeah.
In the marketing side of things, it is literally about becoming Coca-Cola. So we said in tier 4 is thinking Sif is the best bleach, but it's still bleach.
Yes.
Whereas if I need to clean my house, do I use a Hoover or do I use a vacuum cleaner? And you'll probably find, and try this yourself, that you would start saying I Hoover the carpet.
Yeah.
Hoover is a brand name. Hoover didn't invent the vacuum cleaner, but they position themselves as choice. They are the brand.
Yeah, and sellotape being one of the other biggest ones.
Sellotape, sticky back plastic.
Yeah.
Velcro.
Yeah.
Hook and loop. It's hook and loop something. I don't know what it's actually called, but it's not Velcro. Velcro is a brand name on it. I need a Kleenex. No, I need a tissue. It might just happen to be made by Kleenex, and that is the growth at scale, becoming the use the soft drink or becoming Coca-Cola.
Ubiquity, prestige, reputation before anybody's actually even seen any of your stuff.
Yeah.
It is literally the top tier.
Yeah.
It's where you are everywhere and everything.
And the idea behind putting this into a triangle is, if you don't have those foundations correct, tiers 2, 3, 4, and 5 will never happen effectively, or you can get to a point and you'll crumble.
Well, and that's where I was going to point out is Coca-Cola for any point stop doing what they do in their marketing, they would plummet. It doesn't matter how much you are at the pinnacle, if you don't keep up that base.
They stopped it for a day, it would all crumble.
Yeah, well, and they did many years ago change their brand.
1986.
You've got the date written down. I actually forget it. I'm terrible with dates, so it doesn't help. But I do remember the brand. I do remember it changing, and it plummeted their sales, and they changed it back within 6 months, which says it all. That does say, how much for their, brand concept, their position in the market, their, where they are. If they don't continue and keep pushing that area, they will, even people of that size will plummet, will have a problem. If you do something out of the ballpark and don't keep up with the basics with it, you will fail.
I've got a quick question for you guys, but I need to get on my phone to get the correct number for it. Right? So my question to you is, how much does Coca-Cola spend on marketing every day?
It's got to be into the hundreds of thousands.
Yeah.
Nope.
It's more. It's probably near $1 million.
Nope.
Oh, God. Okay.
No, we're talking about a global company here. So
Coca-Cola, how much they spend? I mean, this is in dollars, so I can just about okay, I'll give you each one more guess. I'm not going to say either way, like how close you are or in what direction you are.
So we're talking global campaign, though.
Literally, the company Coca-Cola as Coca-Cola, the whole
so
Coca-Cola.
Global.
Yeah.
It could be close to a day. Or...
Per day. How much do they spend on marketing per day?
See, that's where it gets really complicated.
At the very least, the advertising budget. So,
Or it's either going to be a lot lower than we think.
It could surprise you, to be honest. I mean, because of their ubiquity, they are able to, coast on some things. But, considering how much they do, what you see...
Well,
give us a number.
I'll give you another stupid number of 10 million.
10 million?
500,000 just to give us a chance of being...
10 million or 500,000? Between $11 and $13.7 million every day. So between about 10 and 12 million. So very, very close. 10 million pounds a day.
Just out of interest, and to put this into context, I want to put this across to, how much is their turnover a year?
Well, very good question. What is
because this goes back to my percentage of it.
Yes.
I can't spell Coca-Cola's annual turnover.
Sorry about this lolling.
That's interesting. Coca-Cola Company reported a net total revenue of $47.94 billion for the full year of 2025. That's actually not as high as I was anticipating.
Put that over to a day.
Yeah. You can cut this out.
Well, no, quick maths, and you'll tell me how good my maths is on this one. If that's 47 billion a year, if they're spending $10 million a day, that's 3.6 billion.
10 million pounds.
Sorry, 10 million pounds.
About $12 million.
Yeah. Well, you could do it. You times it by 12.
Yeah, so if that's per day, you're talking 3.6 billion in marketing. You're almost around about the 10% of their turnover is marketing.
Yeah, a bit less than that apparently. According to this, it's about $130 million, which is probably about 120 million pounds. So about 8%. Yeah. 8% of their turnover is spent exclusively on marketing, and we're talking in the millions daily.
And this is a company that's already at Tier 5 top pinnacle.
Yeah. They
when
can't
you're
go
kind
further.
of no, this is it.
They can't go higher
because they've got that.
they can't beat themselves.
Well, I'm not going to do it right now, but it would be interesting to do these case studies and see who are the top drinks companies. So you would look from Coca-Cola, PepsiCo, and
Red Bull.
Right? Put those together. I mean, Red Bull marketing must be more than Coca-Cola, in my opinion. And I guess I would say it's because they have Formula One teams.
Yeah.
And this is where I was going to go with this: is people's thought processes and small businesses are quite often bad for this. It's their marketing budget to turnover is they go, I've got no marketing budget because I've got no turnover. Well, you don't get the turnover without the marketing budget. Yeah. It's the biggest fall in most people's business plan is they forget how much they need to be spending on marketing.
What's the first cut that businesses make when they
It-
start losing money?
Is
It
nuts.
is
Always
marketing.
marketing.
Yeah.
When you're in your foundation tier, your second tier, you should be, in my opinion, looking at about 30 to 40% of your turnover being marketing.
Quite a substantial amount, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then as you rise through the tiers, the money goes up, but the percentage drops.
Yep.
And that's why Coca-Cola's percentage is 8%, because people know who they are, so they can not coast, but they can do things a little bit more efficiently. And the turnover
8%
rises.
to Coca-Cola is, it's
Yeah.
not
A very
a lot in the grand
vi-
scheme of Coca-Cola.
A very vague sum I looked at many years ago was there was if you spent 5% of your turnover on marketing, you are literally not going to get any better.
Yeah.
Your turnover will stagnate. If you're lucky.
Yeah.
5 to 10 will give you a bit of progression. More than that, you are looking at 10 to 15% is people who are pushing their business.
Yeah.
And if you are looking anything less than 5, expect your business to be overturned by other people, because there is other people in your industry who are spending that money and will be taking the business off of you.
I think Teemu was a very good example, just to go back to that and just circle back. I mean, have you seen their marketing campaigns? Wildly aggressive. Obviously quite cheap in production value of the individual adverts, apart from like one of them, which is weirdly good. But yeah, they've got a massive aggressive marketing campaign, so they've clearly put a lot into it and a lot of work into it. And now I don't hear anybody talk about Wish. I don't hear anybody talk about AliExpress. Those are the last two big ones that everybody did.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I've actually heard people be happier with Teemu than I have with people ever talking about Wish and AliExpress.
AliExpress, I don't think they never did a proper marketing. They never.
I never really saw it advertised. I saw
There was-
Alibaba advertised a little bit, but that's
Yeah.
B2B, so it didn't really count.
No, and I always felt
think
that
it was
both of
B2B.
those were B2B.
Yeah.
Very much businesses wanting to buy in massive amounts of stuff to sell on. Wish was the first I would have felt more like Temu was very much B2C to
Wish-
but it was
Wish was I don't quote me on this, I want to say they were an excess stock kind of thing. They were just like had the leftover stuff.
well maybe I honestly don't know. I know it was just cheap stuff that you could buy direct from other countries, and you just didn't know what you were buying. But there was no marketing campaign in that compared to
Not really, no.
what Temu was doing. Temu's marketing campaign is massive.
Yeah, and now Teemu's opening warehouses in the UK, right?
Yeah.
Did you hear about the one that burnt down in Wales a few months ago, actually? Teemu? Yeah.
Yeah, they lost like £12.50 in stock.
Oh, it's tragic.
It's a joke.
Yeah, it was 14 quid.
Yeah. So obviously that hopefully explains the marketing triangle through Maslow quite well. We tie in the other side of it with this as well, that Maslow's other theory was Maslow's hammer, which was very quick. It was, if the only tool in your toolbox is a hammer, you'll treat every problem like a nail.
Yep.
And this is where we circle nicely round into our collaboration approach.
Yeah.
Maslow is made up of industry specialists, but specific areas of marketing, because there are so much that goes into marketing that you can't be the jack of all trades.
No.
If you bring a web designer in to do all of your marketing, you'll treat every problem like a web designer would.
Yep.
You treat every problem like a nail. And Maslow works with a wide selection of specialists to ensure that they're all working to one strategy,
Yep.
but you always get the right person at the right time.
Yep.
And that's really key. I'm going to flip something back on you.
Okay.
How can people get involved in Maslow as a client?
As a client? Well, first of all, talk to this lovely gentleman right here. He has been the whole motivation behind getting all of this started. It was your brainchild, if I remember rightly. But we've developed it as a team. So what you want to do is talk to Ross, or technically any of us. Go onto the website, which is
maslowmethod.co.uk.
and contact us there. Let's have a chat. We'll have a look at what you are currently doing, and we can tell you where you are on the Maslow hierarchy, on what tier you're on. And then we will say, oh, right, so in order to get onto the next tier, these are the kind of things that you need, and this is how we can provide it. Now, we all work together. We all sing from the same song sheets. That's where we differ from just outsourcing to as many different people as you can, and that's where we differ from a standard agency who will choose somebody who needs to do it, but they aren't necessarily going to talk with the other people who are required in order to put together the full marketing specs and strategy that you need. We all talk to each other. We all talk and work very closely with each other in order to produce what you need, and so that we're all doing the same thing and the right thing to get you right up all the way to tier 5. And then you can start spending £120 million a day on marketing and stuff and be even bigger than Coca-Cola.
Definitely. And the other thing that's different, from us is that every penny you put in goes into your marketing. There is, of course, an administration element to it, but that's still part of a cost. But if you are paying a monthly retainer, every penny you're putting in is coming straight back out into your marketing in some way. If you've got a campaign coming up in 9 months' time or a new product launch in 9 months' time, we might hold a bit of that money back just to make sure we can really drive it. So you don't have to spend a huge amount in 1 month, because we will manage that budget for you all the way through to ensure that it aligns with the strategy in play.
Yeah, and the one thing this does do is tie in, instead of you going out to all of these providers, the graphic designer, the web designer, your videographers, your copywriters, the strategists, you instead of you being the hub, we are the hub. We report back to you in one voice and get it, so you understand where you're at, and we give you a complete breakdown of where your money's going and what on. So you don't have this, it's just a massive bill. You can go, it's a massive bill, but it's on X, Y, Z, and you can see where it's gone, and you can understand that it's being spent on, this month we've had loads of videography done, we've got the film crew in for 3 days, we've had we know that now we've got a bit set back because we've now got a load of editing to make sure the videos are used, and then eventually we know that when they are all produced, we know the budget's going to be set aside, ready for the social media plans, all the other things.
This is great for audio.
Yeah. Sorry.
You're getting very excited, and I didn't want to stop you because you're getting very passionate about it, but you kept hitting the table.
I'm sorry. I do apologise. I'm not used to these microphones.
The most important thing for us with the whole Maslow method is everything is done in your voice. We believe that just like we do at Twisted and you do with River Acts, that your story, your voice is the most effective part of your marketing. So what we're doing is with the technical, if you like, behind it, the organisation behind it, that everything is going to come out for you, from you, and that's key on it as well. Yeah. If you're not necessarily ready to go through the triangle, but you actually want to do a bit more of this yourself, we also offer a tier 0 plan. That tier 0 is a one-off payment, but it gets you 6 hours of consultancy with the specialist of your choice, what you would like to know more about yourself. And it gives you a good introduction to Maslow as well. So there's a couple of options. As Xander said, check the website out.
Yep. Website covers a lot of it and explains a lot of it as well. It's really good.
You're the host, I can't edit it.
So yeah, that is very much a little bit about what we've been doing over the last month. How we feel networking is massively important to building your business and your own personal brand, and the Maslow method in more detail. For anybody out there that wants to know a little bit about more of what we all do and why this man appears so often in work that we do, because it is all nicely tied together. It's all about collaboration, and it's all about pushing everybody's business forward in the most effective way. This is where we will draw it to a close. Thank you guys for being a part of what we're doing again. Every month we're looking to run a Creative Canvas podcast. If you're interested in being the next guest on this podcast to talk about what you do, your history, and anything, just to have a sit-down chat with us on a coffee, get in touch. We're always looking for guests. But thank you for watching, and we'll see you next month.